the next type of join we're looking at. Self-joins. Joining a table to itself. I know it sounds crazy. It is crazy, right? How would you do that? Does a table have a reference to itself? Mo, you just told us that primary keys and foreign keys are the main way to join. What is this all about? Hear me out. This usually can be done when a table has a foreign key referencing its primary key. I can hear you saying, Mo, you're crazy. This isn't a thing. And I can most certainly assure you it is. It's not super common, but it can happen. There can be a foreign key in a table that references the same primary key in the table. Let's say you had a table where you had employees, and the employees had an ID. Now, you have Mo here and you have Andre. And let's say that Andre was the CEO of the company, and I was an employee. And let's say that we, in that same table, kept a reference to a supervisor ID. Who is supervising who? Who's manager? That was a weird sentence. Who is the manager of whom in the table? Now, in this case, you can see that Andre is the supervisor of Mo, but Andre is also the supervisor of himself, meaning that he reports to himself, basically. Although this is an uncommon scenario because normally you would have some kind of manager table that would keep references to these things, there is something to be said for simplicity. In some tables, in some databases, it's easier to keep a reference to itself. There are guaranteed scenarios out there where you would do something like this, and this is just one of them. Now, let's say you wanted to see the supervisor's name. You didn't want to see it by ID, because in the example I gave you, sure, there were only two people and we could quickly deduce who's who. But let's say you had 500,000 employees and you had multiple levels of supervisors and you wanted to see the supervisor's name beside the person because you wanted to see who they report to. Well, here is the solution. Self-join. This works the same way that the original inner join worked that we did, where we used the where clause. You see, we're still going to use the from. There is no special syntax for a self-join. But what we're going to do here is we're going to select from the same table twice. We're going to say from employee as A and employee as B. And we're going to say where A.supervisor ID is equal to B.ID. So let's go look at that. So over here, you can see I'm in dbfiddle. And I have this exact query running that we just typed out. And if we run that back, what we can see is that we have Andre, Mo, and the boss man. And the boss man reports to himself because he is the boss man. But Andre reports to the boss man, and Mo reports to Andre. This is the exact scenario in which a self-join is useful. Now, could we do this with an inner join? Of course we could. If we said here, inner join, employee, and we said on, and we ran that back, we would basically get the same results. Why is that? Well, a self-join is the same thing as an inner join. Inner joins are just joining data and trying to find that middle intersection. But a self-join is all about joining a table to itself because a primary key and a foreign key are in the same exact table. If you ever come across a case like this, you know that you can use a self-join to accomplish this. And a self-join is nothing more than joining a table to itself. It's not a different type of join necessarily, but it is a possibility for you to join a data set to the same data set as long as you have a primary key and a foreign key in the same exact table that reference the same exact information. In this case, supervisor ID being a foreign key to employee ID. Knowing that and knowing that self-joins are just a variant of the inner join where you join a table to itself, we now know how to join a table to itself. All right, on to the other fun joins.